What's your favorite scary movie?
Do you ever fantasize about
damn enchiladas?
That's much too vulgar display of power, Karen.
Let me ask you one question. Are you having fun?
We all go a little mad sometimes.
Because I promise you, you and I are going to have some fun.
Oh, no.
It is time to keep your appointment with the Wicker Man.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Shut up, you bitch hog.
Game over.
So I know that, like, we've taken nearly 45 minutes to set up, and I get the feeling you've been itching. Like, I want to talk about this. I want to talk about this film. I want to talk about this film.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get into it in a bit. But welcome back to the Dreadcast. Look at this fancy camera. Look at this. It's like, it's not even 4K. It's probably like 1.5K. We're getting there with setup. We're getting there with setup. We don't sound like we're recording from underwater in a tin can that would eventually implode. That's not a reference to anything. Oh, you are now. Okay, that was good. That was good. Well timed, yeah. But the setup is we're finally getting there. This will become the studio spectacular. But yes, welcome back to the Dreadcast. My name is Tom. This is Nick again.
How?
Brand new to the Dreadcast. He's still on probation. We'll see how it goes. I'm sure he'll do fine. But yes, as far as you mentioned last episode was our 2024 wrap-up, where we discussed our top 10s with some honourable mentions and some dishonourable mentions. What was your dishonourable mention again? The one.
Tarot.
Tarot. That was it.
So bad. It's awful.
Yeah, go watch Tarot, folks.
But there were 2 films out last year called Tarot, so see the bad one.
Were there? Did you mention that?
Yeah.
I remember you bringing that up.
I think the other one, though, was possibly like Hong Kong. It was the second one was a foreign film, and the one I saw was the American bag of shite.
I see. Yeah, no, I had a friend as well say that they was very generic and just dull. All around dull.
Friend.
Well, pretend that I don't have any. No one has.
It was your wife.
You can't keep friends because in times of war they just give up valuable information about you. So you can't do that. But yeah, go check that out.
I'll do great in a war. I'll be fine. Yeah.
That's false.
Everyone needs a human shield. I'll have a lot of friends during wartime.
And attach you to tanks. Strap you to tanks.
You ever heard of the Emancipation Proclamation? I don't listen to hip hop.
So yeah, go check out that episode over yonder in one of the corners. Yeah, it's up there. I can't remember where it is. Go check it out. Today's film is a favourite of mine, which you have now watched for the first time. Directional debut by Coralie. I wrote her name down phonetically because I could never pronounce it.
Fargeat. I put it into Google Translate and just let it read it for me.
I didn't want to get it wrong.
Coralie Fargeat.
Coralie Fargeat. Her first film.
The problem is, if you read her name as you might read it as a British person, it could become very offensive very quickly.
That's why I wanted to nail it down. I didn't want. I mean, you might be on probation, but this could be the last episode we ever do if I get it wrong. So, yes, but directional debut by Coralie Fargeat. First film before The Substance, which is nominated for how many Oscars now?
I think 10, possibly 11.
I really
Basically, it's that and The Brutalist are getting a load of nominations.
Fuck The Brutalist.
I've not seen it. I saw the trailer for it, and I was annoyed by how arsey and
you know about the AI being
the
used?
trailer was. No?
Adrian Brody. They put AI voice over him to sound Hungarian.
Ooh, okay.
Sebastian Stan,
Yeah.
I believe, has a family background from Hungary. So there was like a round table interview, and there's a clip of Adrian Brody talking about it, and Sebastian Stan just looking at him like, "Are you kidding me?" So that film, nope, in the bin.
You went a little bit kind of Elon Musk at the inauguration there.
I'm just pointing to the bin that's actually there, not in the air. I'll cut that out. It's fine.
No, leave it in the floaty bins. They're always important.
It's fine.
Also, I haven't seen the film, but I think I read that it has like an interval in the middle of the film, which to me sounds...
In The Brutalist?
Yes. I don't know, have you seen it?
No, I don't plan to.
Nor do I.
No.
It doesn't look like the type of film I'd give a shit about.
No.
But the trailer for it really annoyed me because the trailer for it was just, let's just change the size of the screen. Let's have, instead of like names coming up or going down, they were going sideways.
Mm-hmm.
It just everything they did in the trailer was to make it look unique. But it just annoyed me.
Fair enough. Yeah. Well, trailers are hit and miss these days.
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully Substance wins something. I would like it to win Best Film and Best Director. I mean, obviously,
I think Demi Moore's probably the best bet.
Yeah, but we'll see. It's the Oscars. So yeah, this is episode on revenge. Quite a brutal film, which we'll get into in a minute. I just want to mention.
But is it the Brutalist?
No, it will never be the Brutalist. Just before we get into it though, you can check the episode out and all past content on YouTube and all major audio streaming platforms. Just search Dreadcast, it will pop up.
Even Spotify?
Even Spotify.
Each week I'm going to come up with a new one that I just learned
That's
about.
good. That's good. Well done. Yeah, do that. And all the social medias: TikTok, Twitter. Calling it Twitter. No one calls it X, apart from.
Are you on Blue
Sky? We're on Blue Sky and Instagram. Yes, all there. Just search
I know you're on
Dreadcast
Instagram. I follow you on Instagram.
Oh, that's so cool.
I know.
I have one follower. We have one follower. Then you.
I follow myself.
It was something. Something just before. Something I was thinking about as we go into this new venture, this new era of Dreadcast, and we've talked about it a lot that we differ on opinions a lot of horror films, but not in a bad way, because that makes for
We'll each
good
happily
conversations.
defend our opinions as well.
Yeah.
You know, there are some films you fucking love, which I don't really care
Exactly,
for. And
yeah.
some films that I think are amazing, like the Netflix version of Texas Chainsaw, which you for some reason
you
hated.
don't like it. You do not like it because I remember we were both watching it and talking about it. I think around the same time.
Literally the day it came out, you've watched it, and I got home from work and I was half an hour behind you, and I was messaging you as things were going on, getting more and more annoyed. But as you know, it's one of those films that's so bad that in my memory it can't be as bad as I remember it. So I'll watch it a second time and think, oh god, it is as bad. And then a few months later, it can't be that. But I think I've seen that film 4 times now, and it still manages
You're
to
a madman.
go lower than the expectations I set for it.
That film gets defended a lot
By idiots.
and that franchise is a lot more misses than hits.
Oh yeah, it's all over the
a
place.
lot more misses than hits. But I wouldn't say it's with that a lot of that difference of opinions. I think you are way more. I want to say
Handsome?
Well, we have to say that you've watched. I think a lot more. That I'll just sympathise. A lot more modern horror than I have compared to classics.
Yeah, you've got me on the classics, and I've got you on the modern.
Yeah, and I was thinking about it the other day, and I quite like that difference because, I mean, that's fine. We do horror. The point of this podcast, I've always said, is just I like the idea of shooting the shit, talking about one of my passions, horror, with other people that enjoy it as well.
Yeah,
it's not a Kermode review site. That's.
Although I do quite enjoy listening to
I
Kermode.
do like Kermode, and
It's a lot of fun.
But his episodes are only like 6 minutes long.
Yeah, that's why they're great.
Right, we're out of here then. So that was revenge. But yeah, so I think by introducing you to some classics which I adore and you've not seen, and vice versa, some modern horrors that I've avoided or just not got around seeing.
Like Attack of the Meth Gator.
Exactly. Oh, that's a 5-piece episode coming down the line. That's a whole month we'll dedicate to that. Yeah, it does. So, yeah, hopefully in the future there'll be a lot more. I don't say clashes of subgenres in horror or eras. But it'll be interesting discussions to come.
Yeah.
So yeah, just wanted to point that out. Okay, that deserves a British. Right then, that's what we all do. Right. This is your first. But this is your first time watching Revenge.
I've never seen it before.
I have hyped. This is one of those occasions where I think I've hyped this up to you, right?
You have, yeah.
Right. A lot of the time when, not just us, this happens to a lot of people, if you get hyped up something for a long time, you got to watch this, and you go, okay, I will. Week later, have you watched it? You got to watch it. No, I will. When you do watch something like that, whatever type of piece of media, TV show, film, or even like a album, whatever, sometimes it's not as hype and it becomes a much more disappointment.
Yeah, your expectation is either so high or
Yes.
so low that it can surpass or...
Yeah. So, my hype just...
Great example of that, just
No,
before
go
we
on,
get to
go on,
Revenge,
go on.
is Batman vs Superman, which was absolutely trashed in the media. It was awfully reviewed. No one seemed to like that film. I watched it a couple of years down the line. I thought, you know what? It's not bad. Because my expectations were so low for that film that when I watched it, I thought, you know what? It's not terrible. Turns out I watched the director's cut, which was actually considerably better than the original theatrical
That one was like
release
4 hours long, or was that the Justice League? It was
I think that's the Justice League
Yeah.
one. This one had a few more bits put in. I was still really annoyed that they stopped fighting because their mothers shared the same name. What? Have you not?
No, I don't care. It's fine.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, I don't want to spoil this.
No, I don't.
piece of shit
I
for you.
do not care.
Yeah, so Superman and Batman are fighting, and then I think Batman's about to kill Superman with a Krypton spear or whatever, and Superman's like, "Martha, why did you say that name?" Paraphrasing. It's my mother's name. It's my mother's name too. And then they just kind of stop fighting.
Oh, that was great. Did they go back to their home planet? Just
I had to go now.
just the
I
cell.
kinda
Just
But no, so you've hyped up Revenge. I'd never seen it before.
Yep.
Watched it. Had my headphones on. Had surround sound set up with the headphones.
Ooh.
Really not got some.
Oh,
nice headphones.
that's
yeah.
actually a good point. Then, well done.
And
for
also,
that.
it's important because I've got young kids living in my house.
Yes, this is not a film for them to be around.
So I've got the door shut, but the TV faces the door, so
Got a
they
box
know
of
not to
tissues
open the
next
door.
to you. You got this. You got the horror sock.
That goes without saying.
Speaking of which,
Crunchy. But no, yeah, so I watched it. I didn't take any notes whilst I was watching the film either. I just let myself get
Interesting. Yeah, cool.
completely engaged in it. And after the film finished, I wrote a few things down.
yeah.
Went on Wikipedia to check. Basically, I couldn't remember the character names.
Yeah. I get that.
Jen and Richard I got, and I just
Yep.
forgot the other two's names.
Charlie Kelly.
Yeah. But I like the fact that there were only 5 actors on the screen ever. And one was the pilot who just rocks up for like a scene.
It's like what we talked about, I think, with The Substance, I personally love a contained film.
Yeah.
And this is, again, like it. Very contained. 4 to 5 actors, characters, one location. Granted, it's a massive location, but it's all happening there.
Yeah.
So was the hype justified for you?
No.
No, not at all.
No, I didn't say not at all.
Okay.
It's a good film. I wouldn't go higher than good.
Okay.
I'd say it was interesting. Really nicely shot. There were certain images that I really, really thought looked fantastic.
Yeah. It's a
But
beautiful.
I had too many issues with continuity and just goofs. Which I'll come on to. Might as well talk about the film first, then get on to the issues.
Yeah.
So, the start of the film, helicopter pilot, you've got the aviators on Richard.
Oh, the shot.
And then the
through
shots you can see,
Yes.
there's nothing
Yes.
around for ages. And then the camera kind of, I'm not sure if it zooms out or just pans, and you see she's sitting, sucking on her lollipop.
Yeah.
And my first thought was, she looks like the girl from the GTA loading screens.
yeah.
And then you
Yeah,
see her earrings are literal stars. And like, that's the Rockstar earring logo. She is the Rockstar girl.
Yeah, no, I never really thought about that, but I see where you're coming from. Yeah.
I mean, it's my brain immediately went to there.
Yeah.
Loading screen.
She so that the cinematography, like you were saying, is incredible in this, and it carries through to The Substance as well.
Yep.
Like, it's clearly
It's well shot,
it's
well
very
set up.
well shot. It's beautiful looking film as well, and I love the way it's shot because of the setting. It's not a generic woodland forest when you're
It's a desert.
It's a desert.
Big
which
empty
apparently
desert.
in South America. I didn't realize that actually. It's
Is it supposed to be South America?
Yes.
I would not have got that at all. I would have got Africa. In fact, I'd have specifically got probably Morocco or Algeria just because of the fact they're French, and French Morocco and French Algeria. And they're both desert.
Well, now you've said that, I'm going to have to double check.
Because I thought just basically French and African colonies, I immediately just set that at kind of northern Africa.
Did my sources wrong?
Because they never actually said where it was.
No.
They just leave you to assume.
I was completely wrong. My source was wrong. It was Morocco. Well done.
Oh, okay. Just entirely
Damn
because they're
my
French
sauce.
and it looked like an African desert.
Yeah. Well, that's poo-pooed this episode.
So yeah, they fly in. We see, thanks to the way it's shot with the reflection in the glasses, how isolated this location is.
Oh, there's nothing around.
And it's only accessible via the helicopter.
Yeah.
Which apparently also brought in vehicles and motorbikes and shit, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, because what you got the Range Rover, quad bike, and a motorbike.
Yeah.
So unless they were towed on a trailer?
Not just the one motorbike.
Was there more than one?
there's only supposed to be one, but they very clearly had multiple bikes because there was a different design of bike in one of the scenes.
Oh, really? I never clocked that.
It's the type of thing that when you see it, you just can't not see it.
All right.
Because the bike this is one of my goofs that just kind of stuck in my head. I think it's the scene where he's driving back in the night, and the shot is mostly just from him from the front.
Yes, it's panned right up to his face.
And it zooms out and you see the bike, and the bike has got a windscreen at that point, which it hadn't had before, and it's got different headlights. It's a different bike.
That's great. Great from your point of view. I hadn't clocked that.
Yeah, because you were sitting there to watch the film and enjoy it, and I just suddenly thought, that's wrong. And then I couldn't stop seeing it.
No, I do like to try and spot out like continuity errors.
Yeah.
And,
but anyway, so they're flying in.
Yeah.
They're going to so if you've not seen the film, we're going to spoil it. So
every episode of this podcast is going to be a spoiler, so tough.
I think it kind of goes without saying if you're reviewing something. So yeah, they're flying into basically like a big hunting lodge almost, like a big fancy...
Yeah, it's Richard's own lodge.
Yeah.
The main male protagonist, not antagonist, sorry. Yeah.
Well, there are 4 real characters because the pilot doesn't count. You've got Jen, who is the girlfriend of Richard. I say girlfriend.
Mistress.
Affair partner.
The mistress, yes.
Of Richard.
Yes.
And then you've got Richard's 2 hunting buddies. I wrote down the name. You've got Stan, and you've got Dimitri.
Stan, who literally is Charlie Kelly, in my opinion.
Okay.
He looks a bit like Charlie Kelly.
And Dimitri, who looks a bit like Rodney Dangerfield in his younger days.
Hey. Oh, hey. Ooh. Yeah. Yep.
So, Richard and Jen have flown in, helicopters flown off, and they're there. And pretty much the first thing that happens is she gives him a blowjob. Yeah.
Kill time. Kill some time.
All stiff after that flight. So
Yeah, well, yes.
And then they're just in bed together. And the next morning she wakes up and goes to get a drink and looks out the window, or not the window, kind of the sliding patio doors.
Yeah.
And sees these 2 guys there kind of with hunting rifles and shit.
Yeah.
Turns out it's the friends, Stan and Dimitri, who have turned up a day early. Because Richard's plan was to fly Jen out later that day before his friends turn up because they might not know he's having an affair.
Yeah. And now he is visibly uncomfortable when they show up a day early, basically exposing his affair and bringing the prospect of his wife finding out to a reality.
Because all 3 of them are wealthy family men.
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah.
So that's an important thing because it's a rape revenge film. And in a lot of rape revenge type movies, the rapists are kind of scumbag, lower than low. They're, I don't know, maybe gangbangers or something. They'll be the dregs of society is what they're put across as. And at the same time, the victim is always this kind of vaginal, lovely...
Vaginal?
I don't know the word I'm trying to say.
The virgin.
Yeah, all virgin-like.
Yes.
The sweet, innocent... goody two. You know what I mean? Everything I'm saying might sound wrong and dodgy, but they always portray the victim as being sweetness and light, and portray the perpetrators as being the lowest of the low. Whereas this film kind of goes, right, she's not a virgin, right? She's a sexually empowered woman, but she said no, and that should be enough.
She still, though, what's great is that her character changes like that when she needs to. Yeah. Right, from about halfway on. But the character at the beginning she is the classic horror cliche of she wants to live in LA. She wants to be seen. She wants the glamorous life.
Yep.
Which in every classic horror film, that sort of cliche, she would be killed during some sex scene and the crowd would be like, yeah, of course. Yeah, she's going to be... And you get to that certain point in this film where like, no. She's not that character.
So, the friends have shown up. She's been introduced to them. And they have a night drinking. They don't do the peyote.
Yes, the peyote, the setup at the
beginning.
The beginning.
The pilot gives Richard some peyote. And they don't do that.
Yeah.
They get drunk. Richard kind of turns down her wanting to dance with him, so she dances with Stan instead for a bit. All interspliced with wrestling.
Yeah, did you... Obviously, we're both wrestling fans. Not gonna...
You can ask me who it was.
Did you notice what it was on the TV?
Alright, so one of the guys... My guess would it be Homicide. or Ricochet.
Well, the thing is as well, I can't
It's
imagine
really difficult to say who it is.
the budget was probably not vastly huge on this film.
Yeah, but they
So
would have
to
just
get the
got
rights to...
They would have just probably paid some ROH or something.
Yeah.
Just from old days. But one of them, the guy who was doing a lot of the moves was dressed... He had the... almost like the flappy belt that hangs down, kind of like a gladiator style.
Yep.
But based on the moveset, my first thoughts were either Ricochet or Homicide.
Okay.
But you only see kind of brief snippets of them, and we're really getting nerdy, the fact that we're obsessing over who the
We're
wrestlers
not
are.
going to talk about it. We're just pointing it out. That was on the TV as like a little transition shot from...
Well, multiple
camera.
times it cut into a
it
shot
does
of that
keep
and then
going.
back to what's going on. But anyway, so she dances with Stan, and then ends up going to bed, and then wakes up the next morning, and Richard's gone because he's had to fly. He said he's gone to the park warden to give the park warden the passports of Dimitri and Stan.
Yeah, he's gone for the morning.
Yeah,
And this is where the horribleness occurs.
yeah. Well, Stan like tries to give her his business card, like, oh, if you want to get in touch with me later on, here's my number. She's like, oh, I'm not really attracted to you.
Yeah.
Why is that? And she just thinks like, you're too short for me.
Yeah, that's quite a specific, you're too short.
It was a very clear kind of, he wants an excuse, I'll give him an excuse.
Yeah.
But then he's like, well, I was the same height last night when you were dancing with me. He doesn't take no for an answer.
Doesn't take no for an answer, but she's very good at not being too aggressive with her.
She was trying to be diplomatic in turning him down.
Yeah.
She didn't want to say, fuck off. She was like, just, no, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And so he rapes her.
He does. The thing with this specific scene and in this subgenre of rape revenge, I mean, the one you always think about is I Spit on Your Grave. That's probably that, maybe Last House on the Left.
I was thinking of Last House on the Left.
Last House on the Left. These are the more notorious, horrible films of that subgenre.
Have you seen Backwards?
No.
I don't know if it's called Backwards. I think it's called Backwards.
Have you seen Backwards?
No.
Right. So these two, this film fits into that category. But I think what I really like about it is that, yes, obviously the horribleness happens. You don't really see it, and it doesn't last that long.
Yeah.
And it only happens, the three main male leads, it's only one of them that commits the atrocity. You've got one that commits the atrocity, one that turns a blind eye, being Dimitri.
Yes. So Dimitri walks in on it. She's screaming.
Yeah.
Dimitri walks in, opens the door, sees what's going on.
And the other one being Richard, who's not even there, but
Well,
obviously when he returns...
Stands like to Dimitri. Stands like, do you want to join in or do you want to fuck off? And he just kind of eats a very slowly zooms in the meeting like a chocolate-covered marshmallow.
Yeah,
so
and
you
that
get the kind
sound
of
is
squelching.
amplified.
Yeah.
Oh.
Then he just shuts the door, turns up the TV, which is showing like motor
Yeah.
racing, and then just goes outside for a swim in the pool.
You obviously hear it happen, and it is horrible, but it doesn't last.
It's not shown graphically.
No.
What you mostly get is a shot because to get into specifics, she's standing up against a window and he's fucking her from behind against the window. So you get a shot from outside, so you can see her facial reactions.
Yep.
And you get the banging against the window.
I mean,
So Dimitri's outside. He's turned up the volume on the TV, but he's still going to hear it outside.
I mean, even for us, the viewer hearing it is obviously it's not pleasant. It's not a pleasant situation, no matter what. There's no way of getting around it. But I'm very glad it doesn't last long in the film. Well, we get straight back into the film in general when Richard returns.
She's upset.
Trying to, here's some money, we'll get you out of here quickly, because he's now thinking, because Stan's admitted to what's happened.
Yeah.
It's basically, sorry, I slipped and fell, basically, he may as well said. And
Richard's like, I went for 2 fucking hours. What have
Yeah.
you done?
So Richard's like, shit, she's got to go. She has got to go, and this has got to be taken care of, and we got to be moving past this. So
He like
tries to pay her
transfers
off,
money into her
gets her a
account.
helicopter,
Yeah.
and she's not having any of it. She's like, no, now, get me the fuck out of here now.
Yep.
And he starts to get visibly angry about her being in this situation, like it's her fault.
Yeah.
Um,
He's clearly just self-preservation.
it's all about his wife and family.
Yeah,
finding
he
out.
doesn't care about his friend.
Doesn't
I mean,
care
I
about
reckon if she had been there as maybe Dimitri's girlfriend and Stan had raped her, he would be happy to maybe call the police on Dimitri.
Easily.
But the fact that
Easily.
she's his mistress and he is the one whose wife will find out makes him a bit more pay her off, get rid of her. And when she says no, She ends up running away.
She ends up running away, and this is near enough to the point where the revenge aspect of the film begins, where we get the hunt down. Well, I say near enough. The point is she runs away. Really great camera work, running across this vast landscape. 3 guys chasing her. They get to the edge of a cliffside, and does she? I can't remember. Does she ask for his phone, or does she?
She turns around and Richard's like, I'll call the helicopter. I'll get him here now. So he gets the phone. He calls the helicopter, and then he goes towards her and then just shoves her off the cliff.
That's it.
She shoves back, falls backwards, and gets impaled on a old tree stump.
That is gruesome.
The way it's shot, her falling down, very Hans Gruber-esque.
We're looking at about your left side, going through. I don't know what that'd be, but it's quite a chunky bit of tree.
Kind of like kidney.
Yeah.
Luckily, it wasn't the other side. That's the liver.
And obviously, them thinking, that's it, problem's over, problem solved. They go back to the mansion, get set up for their hunting trip, and their
first plan is to go back and get her body and dispose of it.
But
they go back. They get their 3 vehicles. We have Stan.
3 question mark?
Okay, the cast has cast 3 vehicles. So Stan is driving a 4x4. Dimitri's on a quad bike, and Richard is on his motorbike.
Yeah.
And they go to the top of the cliff, look down, and she's not there.
Yeah.
But that's because we see what's happened. She has woken up, bleeding, mouthful of blood. This just is ridiculous. Anyway, she sets fire to the base of the tree.
I thought it was quite clever.
No.
She
sets fire to the base of the tree, and eventually, I guess, the wood gets dry enough that it snaps, and she kind of falls sideways. So it's still impaled in her, plugging the hole, which is the right thing to do.
The tree itself is dead and old, so it doesn't have much strength. It doesn't have much juice to it.
But the heat that would have been generated to make it hot enough to snap would have horribly burned her.
Burnt her back to a crisp because of the heat from the top of the fire. Yeah, no, I get that. I get that. Yeah, I get that. It's still cool though. I like the way she hooks the lighter with her iPod that was in her pocket as well. It's iPod Nano, I believe. Classic, had one. Hooks the light. But before that, we also get again. We're talking about the cinematography.
Oh, killing ants.
It's scattered through this film. The close up of an ant. Suddenly, we see a blood drop land on top of the ant, and we get the boom of it dropping.
Well, no, it doesn't land on top first. It lands next to the ant, and you get the noise. And then a little, almost a side droplet of the blood is on the ant's leg as it tries to walk away, dragging the blood and some grains of sand with it.
It's a beautiful shot.
And then it just gets swamped with blood.
Yeah, it's a great shot. With her MacGyver.
After she gets off, she kind of huddles up to the cliff base so that when they look down, they can't see her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this is pretty much to the point now where the revenge aspect of revenge begins. So, revenge. This is the point now where Jen is on her revenge tour. One thing, have you ever seen any promotional material for this film beforehand?
Just the poster.
So you saw the poster. Did you notice that in the poster, she has much darker hair?
Nope.
Okay. If you look at it again, she's much darker. When I first watched this, she's blonde to begin with. Like a dark blonde. I thought, okay, is there another woman coming into this film? Because the poster, she looks like a completely different woman. But then when you get further into the film, obviously, the action and what she goes through, her hair is covered in blood and dirt, and her clothes are covered in blood and dirt. She looks like a completely different woman.
Yep.
Like, it's great. And I saw someone's quote I saw online. It was great. It's Megan Fox turned into Dutch Schaefer. Dutch from Predator, Arnold. It's basically Megan Fox turned into Dutch. I really like that description of it.
Jen, you son of a bitch.
So she's basically on the run.
Yep.
Ends up at the lake.
Yep. We don't see her get to the lake though.
No.
We just know she gets to the lake.
But the one thing we do, which I'm having the feeling now you may have noted this down, is that later on, when she's leaving said lake, it's quite far from the house. So then how did she get from where she was at the burnt tree to the lake?
I mean, it's maybe not that far from the house.
It might not be. I mean, but she goes. I mean, there's the cave. There's a lot of set pieces. They've got the house, the lake, the cave that looks beautiful when it's shot, certain angles.
But they don't know where she's gone, so they might not have driven straight to the lake. They might have driven around for a bit trying to find where she might have gone. So,
Yeah.
she ends up in the lake, and Dimitri, Stan, and Richard get there. And they stop at the lake, and Richard is in charge. So he says, look, I'll go this way. You go that way. And then Stan's like, and I'll wait here.
Yeah.
And well, there's no point two of us going one way. What if she turns up here? I'll stay here.
Yeah.
Richard's like, good thing we got you the heated seats.
Yeah, I actually really love that scene where he gets back in the Range Rover, and it lingers on him for quite some time. Where he puts the heater on, it's not quite warm enough, turns it up
Just
a bit
making
more.
sure he's very comfortable.
Just turns it up a little bit more. Oh, there we go. And then the seatbelt alarm goes off. It's a good 10 seconds he sat there contemplating. Okay, fine, I'll put it on.
Yeah.
I love little scenes like that have nothing to do with the film. It's to do with the character itself.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to go. He wants this situation to be over with, and he wants to be as comfortable as possible while the situation
deal with it.
being dealt with. Yeah.
Yeah. So Richard goes off one way on his motorbike, one of them, and Dimitri goes the other way on his quad bike.
Yeah.
And then we get Dimitri is having a piss into the lake. He's got his rifle there leaning up against the quad bike. The lights are on, and Jen sneaks up on him. Gets the gun, points at him. He's like, blah, blah, blah. Whatever. He might spoke French, I can't remember. And she pulls the trigger, and nothing happens. And you realise that this was his entire plan.
Yeah.
His whole idea was...
He John McClaned her.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna set a trap for you. I'm not gonna leave my gun loaded, you silly bitch.
Yeah.
This is how he likes to hunt. He likes to hunt by just staying still and letting the prey come to him. Which is the way a lot of hunters do hunt. And so he decides he's going to drown her in the lake. He has a knife. He could have stabbed her. I think he has another gun. He could have shot her. But no, I'm just going to drown you in the lake. But also going to keep pulling you up to talk shit to you and then drown you again.
That classic antagonist side of
not just doing the job when you had the chance.
You could just pop her in the head.
It's the James Bond villain. I'm going to leave you in this easily escapable situation and leave.
That's a Mitchell & Webb sketch.
Oh yeah,
where
I could
he's like
shoot
an
him now.
evil
I have a
villain.
gun.
Yeah, I could literally shoot him right. No, it's not.
It's Dr. Evil.
But there is a Mitchell & Webb sketch like that where he's basically playing like a Dr. Evil. But no, it's Seth Green. Yeah. I could get my gun right now and just pop him. Scott, you just don't get it, do you?
I'm going to leave you with sharks with laser beams on their head. I think every animal should have a chance of a hot meal. We don't have any sharks, sir. What? They're endangered. What do we have? Mutated sea bass.
No, they're manatees, aren't they?
No, it's sea bass.
Are they sea bass? Oh, okay. But they're angry, aren't they?
Oh yes.
So yeah, he basically Dr. Evils her.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to pop her right there and then. When she does get her defense in, it's quite brutal. The knife to the eye.
It's also very fitting. He was the witness. She takes both his eyes.
Yeah.
So he's drowning her. Pulls up. She grabs his hunting knife from his belt. Stabs him in one eye. He flails around. She stabs him in the other eye.
The thing I really liked about this scene is that, like I said about her character transformation from who we assume she is at the beginning, the sort of woman she is at the beginning, which we've established from other horror films.
She is the GTA loading screen girl.
Yeah, for what we've established from other horror films in the past of who she is, who she's going to be. It's a sucky assumption. It's how women like this have been portrayed in horror for so long. Is that she seems to have no remorse or like nerves when she's pulling the knife out of him and then just suddenly moving on. She's like, there's no like dropping the knife and freaking out. Like she's zoned in to what she needs to do.
The idea that she's still in shock.
Yeah, completely.
But both
completely,
from what happened to her and her injuries, she's in shock, and that could be quite a natural reaction when you're in shock. Don't show any emotion.
Which the shock leads all the way up to her taking the peyote, which obviously helps her.
Yeah.
So at this point, she's obviously Dimitri's unalived. He's gone. This is when she grabs. Is it the quad bike or a bike and heads to the cave?
Quad bike. She gets his quad bike,
Takes his kit,
his gun,
and the bag,
his gear.
Yeah, that's it.
Heads off to the. Well, she's just kind of. I don't think she's heading for the cave. She's just driving in a straight direction, hoping she might reach somewhere.
It breaks down halfway, right?
I'm guessing it runs out of fuel.
Yeah, that's it. And then she makes her way to the cave. The cave scene's great, where she's hunkered down in the cave, and
It's not.
It's not. It's not. Why is it?
Oh,
not?
sorry. Visually, it's incredible. There
Visually,
are
it's
some
beautiful.
wonderful shots, zoomed out. The way the lighting, because she's in the cave, so it's harder to see where she is. So she's able to light a fire, she's able to get warm, and then do absolute bullshit.
Mm-hmm. Oh, if you didn't let me finish, I would have stated, I'm not the biggest fan of her healing herself, shall we say. I like the peyote hallucination.
So she takes peyote to allow her to remove the tree branch because it's going to hurt a lot.
Must establish how she has the peyote still.
Oh, because
earlier on,
when she wanted to take it when they were having kind of the party outside in the swimming pool, and the Richard gives it to her and says, "Just hide it somewhere where we're not going to find it," and she puts it in a locket.
Yeah, so that's why she still has it.
Yeah.
But they also states early on about the peyote that a friend of his had it.
I read a story about a guy who got so high he sawed off his own leg and he didn't feel it.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm doing that voice. It's French.
Well, yeah, that's it. Yeah. He didn't feel it, so obviously it's stuck in her mind. The way she's completely injured right now.
It's very much Chekhov's peyote.
Yeah. Yeah, so she the process of taking the peyote, it's disgusting at first, but I think she
spits it out at me.
Yeah,
at first,
she does.
Yeah.
Kicks in very quickly.
I haven't any experience taking peyote.
No, I don't think that.
I don't know how realistic this is.
No, I have no idea.
But be honest, it's a film plot point.
That's it doesn't matter. Yeah, I'm normally good. I'm good with gore. Yeah, I'm so desensitized over the years with gore. But if the sound design is right with gore, it can. And I've never had an injury sustained like she has in this film. Where
you've had pretty gnarly injuries yourself.
Yeah,
though.
but not so much that I've been pierced through the side of my body.
Yeah.
The sound design of the blood and the muscle, which comes back later on with Stan's injury, it's just if you put that on mute, fine.
Yeah.
The sound is more gruesome than to me than the visual aspect of it. And it works a treat.
Yeah.
I mean, if you nail that, that's perfect. And the peyote relaxes her, it calms her. It's basically
She also has a drink, beer.
She doesn't.
It was in Dimitri's backpack.
She got
his beer. She drank the beer. Some fluids.
Removes the splinter, which I guess, I mean, from
it's
what
not a splinter. It's a fucking branch.
Made of.
It's a sharpened branch. Made of wood.
Have you ever had a wooden splinter?
Yes.
There's a splinter, damn it.
It's not a splinter. It's too big to be a splinter.
It's a splinter. But
look, if I put a stake through your heart, I can't say, look, he's got a splinter.
If it's still in me. It's a splint. Damn it, I've got to get this splinter out. From what you do for a living,
I work for the ambulance
the
service.
Medical Association.
Yeah.
It is true that, right, if it's better for her to keep it in.
That's what they'll tell you on any first aid course. If you get impaled on something, or if you get stabbed, or if you get a splinter that's actually a tree branch, you leave it in because it plugs the hole.
Yeah.
So if you take it out, you've immediately got the issue of bleeding out. So if you've been stabbed, shanked, I don't know, whatever,
splintered, if you will.
If you've been splintered, you're supposed to leave it in.
Yeah.
And wait until a medical professional is there. Because often an ambulance driver, paramedic will... I'm not a paramedic, I'm just a driver.
Yeah.
Will take you to the hospital with whatever is still impaled inside. You're not going to remove it. They're going to wait until you are in the hospital. You've got doctors, surgeons around you. Then they will remove it after examining and working out the best way to do things.
Yeah.
So you're supposed to leave the hole plugged.
But that's not a... That is a real thing. That's not like a...
You've not done a first aid course, have you?
No, I never did. I probably should.
They will always tell you.
That is a real thing. They will say that.
Right. If someone's been stabbed and the knife is still in the wound, you are to try and put pressure around the wound and not hold it, but try and ensure that whatever's in there stays still.
I see.
And then you wait for the ambulance to arrive.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you leave, as they say, you leave the hole plugged. Whatever's caused the hole if it's been removed, then you've got to try and put pressure on the wound. You've got to hold it down really tight. If it's still in there, you leave it. If it's been removed and dropped, you don't try and put it back in to plug the hole, though. You just do it with whatever you've got to hand.
Well, as far as that, her plug in the hole once she's removed it. The can of beer, which has an eagle. I don't want to speculate, but it looks very Eastern European. The type of beer.
It's got like an eagle on it, but it's a regal eagle type. It's not an American bald eagle design.
No,
it's very much almost you might call it a Nazi eagle. It's an Eastern European. You know what I mean, though.
No, that's what I was. That's what I was struggling to describe. It looked like the logo on the Albanian flag.
Yeah.
I think it's got two heads, and the thing
it's got some writing underneath, and I thought the writing was in English.
On the beer, which is what you pointed out with your monster can. It's 3D, like it's embossed, like on the can.
No, it's not.
Is that not how she?
No, the can is printed. It is not an embossed design.
So
and this is one of the things that
this is what
really ticked me off.
Fine.
She cauterizes the wound after she's removed the tree branch, and that's another thing that annoyed me.
Yeah.
It went in from the back.
Yeah.
She should push it out from the back, because pulling it through, it's just going to create more wounds, because it's pointier at the top. It's going to get wider as it goes.
Yeah. It will thinner if we pull it out the back. Yeah.
But anyway, she pulls it out the front. She's already drunk the beer, cut the top and bottom off the can, split it, and opened it up to make it nice and flat. Put the knife through one end and out the other, so she's got a flat thing. Put it in the fire to heat up.
Yep.
Removes the branch and then cauterizes the wound. Now, that makes perfect sense.
All while high as fuck and anaesthetized by the peyote.
The idea of cauterizing a wound to stop it from continuing to bleed is what makes a lot of sense. That is what you can do.
Yeah,
I mean,
sometimes
you shouldn't do it. But if you've got no other option, cauterizing a wound to prevent continuous bleeding.
There'll be a horror film where an arm gets chopped off or someone gets an iron and just cauterizes it. Yeah, like you've seen that before.
I mean, it's why Luke doesn't bleed out in Star Wars.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I like to cauterize the wound, but then in Misery, she breaks his ankles with a sledgehammer. But in the book, she chops them off.
Does she really? I've never read the book.
And then blow torches to cauterize the wound.
Oh, wild!
Yeah, I mean, the most gruesome scene in the film was worse in the book. Great film, though. Great film.
Incredible film. Yes.
Okay, so she cauterizes the wound, and then when she she then has these peyote dreams.
I really like the hallucinations.
The only way the film makes sense is if she died in that cave and everything was a hallucination after that.
See, that I like that as a fan ambiguous theory. Like that could be
it's the only one that makes sense.
It could work. Yeah, it could be a completely reasonable.
I don't think that's what happened.
It could be a completely reasonable explanation.
It's the only way to assuage my annoyance of all the errors that happen after that.
Yeah,
it's just her imagination if she's dying.
I mean, not the explanation of Richard suddenly turns up in the cave and blows her head off with a shotgun.
Yeah. Well, that's one of her dreams.
That's one of two of her dreams.
Yeah, because it happens twice.
Twice.
Yeah. Anyway, when she is awake and she's removed it, somehow the logo of the beer can has branded itself onto her.
Yeah,
which is horseshit.
Yeah.
The reason I bought this specific can today is this can has some embossing on it.
It does.
So if I were to heat this up and hold it on myself, I might actually end up with not the M, but the bits here that are a bit rough actually do come off the can.
It would leave a silhouette of the M, basically.
It probably would do, yeah.
It would, yeah.
But the can that
Should we try
had
that?
was... No.
No, we're back in a minute.
Well, I started off with a splinter.
We need to try. We need to see if all these things work from the film for science.
It's like a really bad version of Mythbusters.
Yeah. That's why I got you onto this show. You're the guinea pig, mate.
So yeah, the eagle logo design is now burned onto her chest, which makes no sense. And what makes even less sense is it's not a mirrored image.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Even a child making potato paintings knows. You know what I mean? Potato painting?
Yeah. Printing. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Knows that if you like
last week
draw a picture and then put your potato in the paint and then you put it on the paper, it's reversed from how it looks on the potato.
Yeah.
This can image that's just burned onto her is correct way, and the writing is the correct way, which makes no sense at all.
No, I get that.
Another idea that might support the theory that she's dead. This is all her imagination.
Yeah.
Because the writing is the right way. It really bugged me.
I do like that possibility, the theory that this could be the end of her story, but it's just the rest of the film is a hallucination.
We'll see her fancy of how she wishes it had gone.
Yeah. It's an interesting point. I don't think you get that impression from this point on that has she used guns before? Has she been on a hunting trip before?
No, she's not at all.
No, I get that because we get later on where the recoil fucks her
That's
up.
the bit that, yeah.
But it's even so, the way she can hold the gun, just knows how it. I wouldn't know how the fuck that gun. I don't know how the trigger works.
I mean, I reckon that if you looked at the gun, you would probably work it out pretty quickly. Basically, I think we've seen enough films that we could probably load a gun and shoot it. And while she hadn't had the safety off, when she first tried to shoot the other guy, Dimitri, again, once you've realised that the first time, you can probably work it out pretty quickly. When she's in that cave, has a bit of time, she can have a look at the gun, take it, open it.
I do like, because sometimes it can be a real cop out that they'll suddenly reveal, oh, she had trained in all this years ago, and now they're close up on the guys going, oh shit, what are we in store for now?
Have you seen You're Next?
Yeah.
I love that film, but that's not a reveal. That is kind of from the start.
Yeah, completely.
Oh yeah, she's done all this stuff, and I love that film so much.
Yeah. That's but that doesn't work as a cop out, like you said. It's implied. It's talked about.
Very important.
Whereas they could have easily done it here, and I think that would have been a real big cop out because of how her character is in the first act.
But I love the recoil fucking her over because it shows that she's not experienced.
Yeah,
which I think was a really good idea.
It was. Because of her character was in the first act, where how it transitions to how she is now. You would never think that she's got background training with weapons and hunting, and I'm super glad they didn't emphasize on that being part of her character. But yeah, I think the recoil part is that we talking about is coming up. It's coming up next, actually.
Well, not quite next, no, because next we get Richard and Stan.
Back at the lake. Yes, back at the lake. Yeah.
So Richard's been out looking for Jen, and Stan's been literally just having a nap in the 4x4.
Say a bit. It happens in the lakes a bit.
No. The first thing that happens is that he chucks a dead fox on the windscreen. I think it's a fox.
It's a small animal.
Yeah,
it's quite gruesome how it's.
Yeah. So Richard has hunted and killed something whilst he was looking for Jen. Gets back, Stan's asleep in the vehicle, so he just throws the carcass onto the windscreen, and blood is everywhere. Yeah. And then Stan turns on the windscreen wipers to try and clear the blood.
Yeah, the blood just...
No. He then turns the windscreen wipers off, gets out the car, goes to talk to Richard, and when he goes back to the car, the wipers are still on, because, different scene, different shot, they forgot to turn the lights off.
A low speed?
No, they were off, and then they were back on fully.
Okay, all right.
Another one of those little continuity errors.
Yeah.
But no, so Stan... I think he goes for a piss in the lake first, and then he starts just washing his hands in the lake where he's just pissed.
He doesn't piss in the lake.
He kills a spider.
To the side. Yeah.
Just like the blood on the ant earlier on, he kills a spider with his piss. And then he washes in the lake, bit of water, and then Dimitri's body floats up.
Well, this is kind of what bothered me. Like, it's obviously the same area in the lake, but Dimitri wasn't in that area. He was further up. This, to me, can be a bit... This happens in horror at times. A bit cheesy, where his body just so happened to appear right where Stan was. It's a little bit hokey, a little bit cheesy.
I think the bigger problem is he's showing like 2 weeks of bloat from being in the water.
Yes, he's very...
And it's what, a few hours down the line?
Yeah. He's very zombified, if you will. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure the water's clean, but I mean, he's washing his face and it's pretty dirty.
I think it was more a case of
just cooling
off type of thing.
I wouldn't want to rub that water on myself.
He was hot, and Richard told him to turn off the aircon, so he comes out, put the water behind me neck.
Again, another scene like that where it's got nothing to do with the film, but he's talking, turn the aircon off. It's unenvironmental.
Yeah, it's like...
I love it. It's just so out of the blue.
You're hunting a woman to kill her because your friend raped her. You don't want her to go to the authorities, but it's bad for the environment to have the air conditioning on.
It's just sociopathical mood. Yeah. So at this point, I actually know at this point, when Dimitri's body turns up, Stan heads back to the car and just loses it.
Yeah.
Punching the visor, shouting, screaming, because he knows he's fucked.
Yep.
He knows she is still out there. One of them is down, and he could be next, which...
And she's now got a weapon.
She has a... Nah, she has a machine.
Ho, ho, ho.
This, the gun, it's like a cross between a long-range rifle and a shotgun. Like, it's a proper powerful rifle, but it's because Stan has a rifle, and it looks more like a hunting sniper rifle.
Yep.
I mean, I know fuck all about guns. I know they go pew pew bang bang, but
Rat-a-tat.
the one she picked up from Dimitri it's a beast.
The gun she picks up from Dimitri makes complete sense for the way Dimitri says he likes to hunt. He likes things to come to him and he kills them. So he has got something that is very powerful, but probably not best for long range.
Well, it's long range for her.
Yeah, but the gun, again, I don't know a lot about guns, but it looks like he's got like a very powerful shotgun variant.
Yeah.
Whereas Stan looks like he's got more longer range, and I can't remember what Richard has, really.
Richard has a shotgun, which we see later on in the final showdown, which I'm very much looking forward to talking about. So Stan's next. Stan's next on the chopping block, basically.
Well, Richard and Stan drive off together looking for her, and then they come across Dimitri's abandoned 4x4.
Yeah, and this is where they say get the map out. They say you go mountains or go here.
Yeah,
so they split up. That's it.
So they split up. They're going to meet up in like 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah.
So Stan's driving along the mountain path. Richard just told him, you look in every cave, you look in every hole, and he's just driving along, not doing a thing, because fuck it, I'm not getting out of the vehicle.
He's getting a nice scenic view, just driving down a nice gravel road.
And if this person who's already escaped from us once and killed our friend is around and walking in the middle of the road, I'll see her. She's hiding, no chance.
Yeah, this is I actually really like this bit of cat and mouse between Jen and Stan in this scene. But it ends up being so brutal what happens to Stan.
Stan gets out.
Fuck Stan, by the way.
He's the rapist.
Yes.
Stan's running low on fuel, so he gets out, and I actually quite like that he didn't have like a funnel, so he's just got an old water bottle that he shoved in to then pour.
It's a great idea.
Yeah,
it's a brilliant idea.
That's what you have to do.
Yeah,
If you've never put fuel into a vehicle, not from a like a petrol or a gas pump, you've had to do it from a can. There is a little catch type thing inside your petrol tank that has to be pushed open.
Yes. Yeah.
So normally that's done by the nozzle, but if you're pouring a liquid in, it will just go everywhere. So he has used a water bottle and shoved it in to hold the catch open, so we can then pour in.
He's MacGyvered the bottle to be a funnel, basically. Yeah. It's great. Do you also notice the fuel? I mean, it's a Range Rover, so I would assume it would be diesel.
It is diesel.
Is that?
It literally says diesel.
Yeah. No. Let me finish. I know fuck all about guns, and apparently I know fuck all about fuel. Is that what diesel looks like, colour-wise?
Completely clear.
It had a blue tinge, but I guess it was the bottle. But it was pretty much completely clear.
Yeah.
Is that what diesel?
I don't know. I think so. I've spilled it on myself repeatedly whilst I'm filling up ambulances.
If you know anything about diesel and fuel, send it on in to the Dreadcastpodcast at gmail.com.
You could just Google it, but okay.
No, we want them. We want them in. We want to invite them in.
So, what I know about diesel is...
It's a locomotive from Thomas Tank Engine.
Oh, I was going to go with... he was known as Oz. And,
not doing that.
Vinny Vegas.
Not doing that. I'm going to cut that out.
It was part of Two Dudes with Attitude.
Cut that out as well.
That which makes a Mack truck go.
Cut that out as well. So, yeah, this is also the point where...
I mean, at this point, I really hope you don't cut it out and you just put a photo of Diesel on the screen as I'm talking. Diesel was the name of a wrestler.
Yeah.
Kevin Nash.
Where are we talking about?
Who was an actor? He was in horror films. Okay, I say horror films, horrific films.
So, he's filling the car up.
Yep.
She is at the point she has him in his sights.
Yeah, so she's got him in the sights, and here is where she's clearly not planning for the recoil on the gun.
Yeah.
She pulls the trigger, it snaps back against her and knocks her back, and also puts her shot off target. She hits him in the shoulder, not the head.
I love that they did that for her.
Have you ever fired a shotgun?
I've never fired a gun.
Okay.
Apart from an airsoft gun. But
okay, so I went clay pigeon shooting
Oh, yeah.
One of my dad's mates has quite a few shotguns. He likes going clay pigeon shooting. I went with him once. Ooh, first time you fire a shotgun,
yes, they do go,
you are not expecting the recoil.
Ooh, they do go, ooh.
It's like, he says, like, get it right tucked in. Basically, you are shoving it into your shoulder. Before you pull that trigger, make sure there's no gap and it's pushed right in. Because the first time I did it, maybe a centimetre, bang! It's like being smacked with something really hard.
You've had problems with your shoulders before, because I can only imagine this didn't help.
Oh, I was a kid at the time. I was maybe 12 or 13.
Big old cannon.
I mean, of the 20 clay pigeons I tried to shoot, I hit one of them.
I can't imagine it's easy at all.
No, if you're experienced,
Yeah.
you know how to track them and everything. But me, I'm just like, bang, bang. But no, the recoil is something that you really notice. And if you've never fired a gun before, you cannot really be prepared for how strong recoil can be.
Oh, I can only imagine.
So when she did that, I was like, that's exactly how her character should react to firing the gun for the first time.
Which then takes away that thought maybe you might have had earlier on of, oh shit, has she, like we said, has she got that hunting background? No, she's just doing the best she can.
Yep.
But the recoil's really messed with her. And I'm super glad they put that in there with her not expecting it at all.
Yep.
But I like that she gets back up straight away and pursues him straight away.
So he panics, and instead of getting back in the vehicle, he starts running off the road.
Yeah.
Kind of limping with his shoulder injury. Eventually he's like, because he's bleeding from the shoulder, he takes off a boot, takes off his sock, and wraps his sock around to make a tourniquet, which will never work.
No. Also a big sock.
Well, I can understand he's wearing long socks. It's very cold
yeah.
in deserts at night. But yeah, it's a big old sock, but he could never make it tight enough. What he has to do is he has to tie the knot and then put like a stick under it and twist the stick to make it tight. That would work, but he's just doing it with his teeth, but he's just panicking. Runs away. She's following the trail of blood, and then it kind of stops where his boot is, because the tourniquet immediately worked perfectly.
Yeah.
Then he kind of goes off the track and hides up a little bit higher.
He then begins to clock where she is.
So she goes past where he is,
cat
and then
and
he
mouse.
starts trying to go back to the vehicle.
Yeah. This is something that bothered me about this film, and it is recoil related.
Oh no, sorry, he doesn't do that. He shoots her first.
Yeah. So that's right. He's now in pursuit of her.
Yeah.
He's clocked eyes on her. The thing that really bothered me with this is the scene with his recoil. He has the recoil on his bad shoulder that's just been shot, and it doesn't affect him as much as it did for her.
It affects him just lifting the gun is his problem.
Lifting, but the recoil.
But also, different guns have different recoils, mate. I mean, if he's shooting a rifle compared to a shotgun, shotgun's got a lot more kickback.
I get that, but if I've got a hole there and my nerves are going to town, it's still going to hurt.
Well, it hurt him, but her issue was that she wasn't expecting the recoil, so she was holding the gun quite loosely. So when she started firing back, he's struggling to get it up, but he has tucked it in. It's going to be really, really painful, but he's almost got it. But then, because he's a bit weaker because of the shoulder, instead of shooting her in the head, he shoots her earring off.
Yeah, which is, it's not a setup and payoff, but it's one of those things that was like, the earring is so, like, bright and just in your face at the beginning of the film.
It's the Rockstar logo. She's the Rockstar girl from GTA.
Okay. And that's what gets pinged off. That's what gets pinged on the bottom of her ear. Now, I don't know if this is true again, from the medical expert over here.
I'm not an expert.
The ex-medical expert over here.
Not an expert.
I have heard before that apparently the ear is one of the places on the body that would bleed severely if it's like really injured or cut open. Like,
I think it depends the part of the ear. The bottom part of the ear, that's why you can pierce it so many times, it's not a problem. Top part of the ear with the cartilage, that can get damaged quite badly, and that can bleed like under the surface, where you, like cauliflower ears, due to damaging in the cartilage and then
your
bleeding.
equilibrium.
Well, that's more the
more
inner,
right? Yeah.
But no, I think the lower part of the ear, I mean, if you injure it, it will bleed, but I don't think it's going to be like massively pumping, gushing blood.
Okay. When she gets shot, this is one thing I actually can't remember. She is now being pursued by Stan.
Yep.
But I can't remember what it is. She drops something that is shards of glass.
No, she doesn't drop it. No,
she's
got a torch.
Yeah.
She's got a torch as part of her gear bag from
it,
Dimitri. And she knows he's lost a shoe because she saw him take the shoe off. She saw the shoe that wasn't he had taken off. So as she's running, he shoots her. She is running back down the path towards where the vehicle is. As she's running past like a little rocky outcrop, she smashes the torch against it, leaving shards of glass on the floor, and it carries on running. He's chasing after her. He steps on the glass.
This whole 2 to 3 minute scene of Stan in agony trying to recover the glass out of his foot is horrific. To me, things like this are more horrific than cut open guts flying out everywhere like a zombie film. Because
you know
again,
that's not going to happen. But you know you can step on something.
I know
sharp.
this could happen. This will probably happen to me this week at work.
I'm just going to follow you around and just smashing
This
glasses.
will probably happen. But it's also, again, the sound design. It's the squelching, and it's just gruesome.
Speaking of breaking glasses, start the film, when she sees Stan and Dimitri for the first time, she's just got a glass of water from the fridge, she's got her apple, she had a bite out the apple.
Yeah.
She turns, she drops the glass and it smashes on the floor. When they come in, there's no water or glass.
Oh, okay. A little continuity thing again.
Yeah. I mean, the apple carries on because we see the apple slowly decaying over different scenes, which makes sense. But anyway, sorry, back to the glass.
Back to Stan's foot.
Stan's foot.
He eventually gets it, but you can see in his face, he's trying to muster up all the energy and willpower to do it, and he's going through all this pain. Good. But he eventually gets it out, and it's just the squelching, the sound. It's horrific.
Yep.
And when he gets back in the car that he has refueled, there's quick shots of his foot on the accelerator, and as you need obviously to put pressure on the accelerator, as he puts pressure, the blood squirts out from I want to say a good 4-inch gash on the bottom of his foot. Oh, it's just gruesome.
It's like you can't get it started because you've got to put the foot pedal down to start it.
Yeah. I mean, all the gore special effects in this film, I think, are brilliant. I think are superb, and they become very much emphasised in the final showdown, which we'll get to in a minute. It's a lot of it. You don't like the final showdown, I know that.
I have an issue with it.
That's fine. We'll get to it in a minute. So the final act of this cat and mouse, Stan is on hot pursuit in 4x4 Jem, and she is struggling to aim at him. She gets like the wing mirror or something in one shot, and she gets another one. I think it's the third shot. She eventually pops him in the head. But it's like the last moment. Yeah. The last moment where
hits him through the windscreen, hits him in the head.
As he's about to hit her.
Yeah. Yeah. And then also blows out the back of the headrest behind him. There's blood going through there. You don't actually
see him get shot. It's the shot is the back of the headrest.
Yeah, the headrest kind of exploding with his brains and blood.
I did think here though that he must have been going pretty far, at least 30, 35. The car kind of stops very quickly.
You assume he was going that fast. At the same time, it's very closely shot, and he's on a winding mountain road. So you can do 10 to 15 on a mountain road. It can look a lot faster because you're so close.
Yeah, good point.
When you're driving down a country lane that's really close on either side, it can feel like you're going way faster than you actually are.
Yeah. yeah. No, good point. And that's the end of Stan, thank God.
Well, then she opens the door, drags his body out, and we get a lovely shot of the headrest, which is completely pristine without a hole in it. Considering the way they shot his death, that you see it because the headrest has exploded, the fact that then the next time you see the headrest from the front, there's no damage to it, fucking annoying me.
I'm not even like going, oh God, again, another one. I'm glad you're picking up on these things because like, I love the film more than you. Great. Yep. I'm clearly though.
I don't dislike the film.
No, that's fine. But I'm clearly, sometimes when you get into a film that you really love, sometimes you can miss things because you're so absorbed with the fact, I love it. I'm just missing.
Like
things.
Me with Jurassic Park, I missed loads of the bloopers in Jurassic Park.
Yeah, that happens. It happens.
Like the misspelling of the word Stegosaurus. That's quite an important mistake to make in a dinosaur film.
It's quite important. Yeah. So I'm glad you found these things that I haven't, and we haven't just completely missed them. So that's cool. So in the back,
there's a really nice shot though. As she drives off, we see her reflection in the wing mirror, and as she drives off, her reflection stays there for way longer than it should do, because it should have disappeared as the car went. But feel like they just did something with the camera work and maybe superimposed her reflection on the screen. So as the car drove off, her reflection in the wing mirror stays there for maybe a split second longer than it should, but it draws your eye to it. I really like that.
I think I know what you're talking about. I think I know the shot you're talking about. I mean, that's an ongoing positivity with this film. The camera work and the cinematography is just superb, and it's
the framing of shots. They know what they want to see.
Yeah.
That's both her, but also whoever the cinematographer was.
Of course, but still involved with.
She's done a great job for a first film. This is incredible work.
Yeah, for a second film, The Substance, like 2 for 2.
Yep.
Richard on the mystery bike.
Yep. This is a really well shot visual.
The one we mentioned earlier on.
Yeah, like the music's going kind of electro.
Yeah.
And then he's driving towards the camera.
It's at night as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're on day 2 now of this whole trip. I got you thinking.
Yeah. So day night. No, not it's day 3 because
day 1 they arrive.
Okay, it's day 4, mate.
Day 1 they arrive and
day
party.
1 they arrive. No, day 1, Richard and Jen arrive. Day 2,
day 2,
Dimitri and Stan arrive.
Yep.
Day 3, she kills Stan because the night of day 2, she is in.
Oh no, you're the party.
Yeah, no. Yeah, the night of day 2 is at the party.
Yeah.
So day 3.
In the night, she kills Dimitri at the lake.
Yep. And then she cauterized her wound.
Yep.
And then day 4, she kills Stan. So this is the night of day 4 going into day 5.
Oh Jesus! Yeah, you're right. Wow. It doesn't feel like it's been that long in the film.
Oh no, because the film isn't several days long.
If it is, if you watch it on repeat.
Or it's super slow.
So Richard's on his way back to Le Manchon.
Yeah, I think he's decided he's not going to catch her. She might come back to the mansion, or if she doesn't, she'll just die in the wilderness.
Does he realise at one point where he can't get in touch now with Stan? I think he himself realises
he's
fuck.
Like over the radio. He's calling him over the radio system, and she's not. She's in the vehicle with it.
Yeah,
she's not responding. I think he's heard the gunshots.
Yeah,
can't get in touch. I think he's just theorised she's dead.
Yeah,
he's dead.
So it's like maybe a way back to the mansion.
Yeah,
get the hell out of here, like it never happened.
Goes back to the mansion, calls the helicopter, arranges it to come pick him up. Goes to take a shower.
Well, you realise this one continuous shot for about 5 minutes.
I didn't pick up on it.
So he arrives back at the mansion. Does he just collapses into the pool first? And then he gets out and he sits.
Honestly can't remember.
He might have done. He then sits on the couch.
The TV turns. He sits on the couch and sits on the remote, turns on the TV, which is doing this like
it's on
American
repeat,
shopping channel.
Yeah.
Well, it's not so much on repeat as in that it's just the way the shopping channel has just got the same advert on.
He rings
the pilot,
who actually has a name. I can't remember what his name, but he does. He's actually credited.
Jean-Philippe. Oh no.
Says helicopter's going to be there in half hour. The next camera shot, from then on, him getting off the couch, walking, taking his top off, walking to the room, putting his gun down, taking his rest of his clothes off, getting in the shower, hearing the noise, suddenly stopping the shower, picking up the gun, going round the house. That is one shot. That is a continuous shot. Goes round that little loop at the back of the house, which we see in the showdown, goes back out, goes to the edge of the pool, picks up the pool cleaner. The camera turns back round as it follows him back to the house. It's all one shot.
And then she's behind him outside through the window.
Yeah, but the way she's revealed is he turns around to face the window. The camera looks at him and he's shocked.
Yeah.
The camera then turns and reveals it's Jen, aiming the gun straight at him.
Very stylish.
It's great. It's such a good shot, and I hadn't clocked the first time that it was all one shot. It was at least 5 minutes. I didn't clock it. It's at least 5 minutes.
I didn't clock it either.
Yeah, it just keeps going and going.
I think I was just distracted by his full nudity.
I mean, you get that in the beginning of the film.
Yeah, he literally, after blowjobs, kind of walks back into the living room with his cock out.
I mean, he's quite a specimen. He's quite a specimen. I'm happy to say that, but that is his she. She's a very attractive young lady. And it's quite ironic that where she shoots him now,
it's kind of where she
exactly
was
where
stabbed.
she
catches him in the side.
yeah, and that blows the side of his waist out.
Yeah.
And we get a little shootout here, and this is where the blood starts to redecorate the. This is where I instantly thought of a clip from Blackadder, the 4th, with Flashheart, and he's pointing a gun at Blackadder. It's like, quickly move out of this room before I paint this wall in the color of your blood. It's just this living room just become blood.
Whereas I was thinking Friday the 13th. No, sorry. What? No. Nightmare on Elm Street. When he pulls him into the bed, and it turns out he existed. He had like 4 million liters of blood in his body.
Johnny Depp just becomes an ocean of blood.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I'm sorry, the amount of blood that Richard loses is more blood than like all 3 of them would have had in their bodies together.
Yeah. This is one thing I had noticed, especially a certain point in the showdown, which I want to get to. So they're in a shootout, and there is a point in this house where it's like a loop. It's a corridor that goes round to the back of the living room. Looks like it goes a bit outside and ventures back into the living room. And this showdown, they are circling each other around this loop for quite some time.
In my head, I've got like just a mouse or a squirrel running around a tree with a cat.
Yeah, yeah. But he eventually starts to catch up slowly. I think no, it's not this point. He I think he doubles back and goes the other way. Yeah.
And then waits around the corner.
I love that shot.
With the gun perfectly at her head height, waiting for her to step into it.
It's such a good shot.
Now, she can't hear him anymore, so she slows down.
Yeah.
And finally, she sees a pool of blood from his wound just flowing in. And she realizes, oh, he's standing there waiting. And you're just like, there is so much fucking blood.
So much blood.
His blood, the entire loop that they're running around is coated in his blood to the point where she slips over on it because there's so much blood. And there is a pool of his blood where he's standing going all over the place.
It's a pathway.
Sorry.
She's made a pathway.
With that much blood loss, he has died several times over. I mean,
yeah.
He's died, he has an extra life, he's died again because he keeps bleeding out because he's losing so much fucking blood.
But have no fear, there's some cling film on the table.
I liked it. I like that idea. He
I've
just
never
wraps
seen
the
that
cling
before.
film just to try and hold things together. Very much a Sabu way of dealing with an injury.
I've never seen that before. The cling. It worked. I mean, it worked for.
Well,
it
it put pressure on the wound and
like
it tried to stop blood coming out.
Yeah, but that shot though is great of wide shot, side profile of him, and he's got quite a good stance with the shotgun, just ready. He's not looking anywhere else, ready for her to just walk a few more steps, and you see her crouching just forward slowly, and then she stops.
I'm pretty sure her gun barrel maybe pokes out a bit so you can see it before she goes back again. Or it might be the shot that we have.
I think it's the shot, yeah, because the fact that she goes back, I don't think that happens because he only realizes that she's not walking any further forward because he looks down and notices his blood has trickled and then realizes that shit, she must have seen it.
Yeah.
And that's where our loop starts to happen again.
Yeah.
He gets quicker and quicker and quicker and he catches up with her and then she slips, like you said.
Yeah.
She slips and falls over.
In the copious amount of blood.
So much blood. There is so much blood. It's quite intense though. Again, the sound design is so good on this bit.
So I went past intense to it's ridiculous. There was too much blood.
I will agree with you.
This is one of the reasons I'm
like,
if she has died in the cave and this is all her imagination, then this makes sense.
Yeah. No, I get that.
There was too much blood.
Some of the camera work on him chasing her really gave me Patrick Bateman vibes.
Yeah.
American Psycho.
Obviously with the axe,
up close. Yeah. Face is so
again,
aggressive.
Some really, really good camera work.
Yeah.
Some really lovely, well shot stuff.
Yeah, completely. It's just up close, torso up, face looking so maniacal and just evil. Just trying to catch up with her. Very Patrick Bateman. And she trips, he picks her up.
Tries to choke her out.
Yeah. And she lunges at his wound.
Yeah, she grabs his wound, which makes him kind of ease up a bit, and then she cocks her gun and shoots him.
Yeah.
He kind of explodes a bit.
He does have a little explosion in him. Yeah.
Not quite to the level of her head exploding in her own fantasies, but yeah.
Which that you can see at one point that's a CGI head explosion. They didn't scrimp for the the prosthetic scanners explosion. And that's the end of Dear Dickie. And that's all three taken care of.
Stan was Dickie.
Stan was very Dickie. Dick 1, Dick 2. And we end with just... I mean, she's probably still in...
I think we have the sound of the helicopter arriving. That's kind of...
Yeah, but she just slowly walks to the end of the pool.
Yep.
Just glaring out to the vista, if you will. The mountain range. Great shots again. And helicopter just picks up, and that's it. I mean, I love it. I can fully 100% see your faults and continuity errors that you've picked out.
I mean, another one I forgot to mention is...
go.
Well, one argument is that she cauterized the wound on the front, she didn't cauterize the wound on the back. But then the other one is going to be that maybe the heat from the burning tree cauterized the wound, which means that, okay, if that's the argument you're going to make, when she pulled it out, that's going to reopen the wound. But...
Yes, no, you're right. You're super right.
She's got slash marks on her back, right? She's got like a couple of slash wounds on her back that are visible in almost all the shots. Mm-hmm. When she's chasing Stan, sometimes they just aren't there.
Oh, really?
It's almost like they did reshoots and didn't reapply all the makeup.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd have thought, like, you take notes. Okay, where is our character now health-wise, and what's happened to her? Right, this is what she needs to look like from here onwards in the story.
Yeah. But the problem is, if they go back and do a reshoot because they messed up, they might just forget to redo certain parts of the prosthetics and the injuries.
No, yeah, you're right.
I mean, it's a good film. It's not a great film.
No, I'm not going to tell you you're wrong. Neither of us are wrong or right. It's a personal opinion.
I think the visuals and the way certain shots are set up and filmed, the way they look, shows a huge amount of talent.
That carries the film.
Yeah.
The visuals, for one thing, for sure.
Script-wise, it's fine. It's a nice idea to kind of not follow certain tropes you expect from a rape revenge film.
I completely agree.
As a character, that, as I mentioned earlier on, the fact that she's not like sweet and innocent and light, the fact that she is a sexually positive person, but she said no, is, I hate to say this, it's more realistic for real world
that situation,
rape situations.
Yes, no, completely. No, you're right. Yeah.
But I'm not saying it in a negative way. She is so the rock star girl. You looks
mentioned that
once or twice because that was my first thought, and I couldn't not see her from like GTA loading screen, blonde hair, sucking lollipop, and then she literally has the star earring, the rock star logo.
So like once you've seen it, you can't unsee it.
Yeah, exactly.
She is a great character.
Really interesting.
Really
a good arc. Richard starts off seeming quite nice and then just drops off a cliff. Stan is a little shit and an absolute pussy.
Little sleazebag. Complete little sleazebag.
I found Dimitri to be the most boring, worst character, but I found his explanation for I wanted you to find me to be really interesting.
He doesn't really give much until that scene, really. He's just a kind of background. He's just there.
He's just the viewer.
Yeah.
He's the voyeur.
A rape revenge subgenre, because it's quite a hard one to even recommend to people.
Yeah.
Because even if you start the sentence off, oh, it's a rape revenge... No. I mean, no one wants to go out their way to watch that. But this film tackles it very well, I think. I think for one aspect, thankfully, it doesn't last long.
Yeah.
It's not like
it's not graphically shown.
It's not graphically shown. It's not a schlocky 70s, 80s where everyone gets a go.
Yeah.
It's just done. We're on. We're back onto the real, true revenge aspect of the film, where they get what's coming to them. And if it had to list it in that subgenre, forget about whether it's one of your favorite horror films or whatnot. It's one of the best rape revenge films, in my opinion, because of the way it tackles it. Like I don't like I Spit on Your Grave. I don't enjoy it. I enjoy this film. I know
I get that.
That sounds creepy because of what the subgenre is, but I enjoyed the film as a whole.
I think you enjoyed the second part of Rape Revenge as opposed to the first part of Rape Revenge.
Very much so, yes. The revenge part, if you will.
Yeah. It'd be a very different genre of movie. It's just the rape part.
It was Get out of the way. Horrible. Did you have anything else to bring to the table for this?
I'm really looking forward to seeing what Coralie Fargeat does next.
Yeah, there's been no indication as to
this
what
was a great
she's
setup.
doing next.
And then
Knocked out
the substance was incredible.
Yeah.
It's a bit like what was his name? It's an actor whose name I've forgotten now.
Mm-hmm.
Where his first 3 or 4 films are all absolute bangers.
Mm-hmm.
He was in like Inception. He was in Avatar. I think it was his first 3 or 4 films.
Mm-hmm.
They were all just massive blockbusters, all really well reviewed.
Okay.
I don't know what he's done since then, but like Fargeat, she's done 2 films, and they're really interesting films. They're really visually stunning films.
Well, in that sense, I compare her to Eggers.
Yeah.
Eggers he did some short films like oh my god, I completely forgot. But he's done some short films before his main 4 feature films that he's done. So the Vivitch, Lighthouse, Northman, and now Nosferatu. And to me, he's 4 for 4. And at the moment, she's 2 for 2. It might differ in your opinion. It's absolutely fine.
I'm not saying it's a bad film.
No, I know you're not, but I obviously didn't enjoy it.
It's a bit like The Lighthouse. I appreciated it, and it was visually incredible.
Visually again, yes.
And
unique.
Really well acted. But I have no intention to watch it a second time.
Yeah, completely understand that. Yeah. And there's not enough creatives like that.
Yeah.
Especially in horror, but in cinema, in my opinion. But more so, let's say horror. Not enough like anything that Blumhouse pops out. To me, it's just a red flag. I don't care.
I'm trying to think. There are more recent films.
I mean, 2 off the top of my head last year were Night Swim and Imaginary. I think they did 5 Nights at Freddy's. They will just buy all the scripts up. And
I saw 5 Nights at Freddy's at the cinema.
Uh-huh.
Mm.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Person I was with literally had a nap whilst the film was going on.
It's still there now.
No, it wasn't great.
No.
Because it focused too much on the backstory of the security guard. Like, I want to see the killer animatronic robots. I don't give a shit about his baby sister being kidnapped.
And you watched Nick Cage Willy's Wonderland for that.
That was better.
Yes, because it's schlocky. If you're going to do that film, it needs to be schlocky and stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Nick Cage is good at that.
Yeah. Okay,
Nick, your character has no lines.
No lines whatsoever.
Okay. I've already learned the script.
I could do the pooch for hours. So, yeah, I love the fact we have some creatives still in the world, which kind of a little segue. Rest in peace, David Lynch. I adore David Lynch's work.
I know of it.
You know of David Lynch.
I've probably seen some of his films without knowing.
Yeah. I had a feeling.
I never saw Twin Peaks.
So this is why I didn't bring it up at the beginning of the episode, because I had a feeling and this isn't on you, this is fine if you didn't know David Lynch's work, it's not for everyone. I adore Twin Peaks, especially Firewalk. Firewalk with me has some of the most horrific scenes I've ever seen in a horror film, portrayed by Cheryl Lee, who has the best scream in horror, in my opinion.
Better than Wilhelm.
Wilhelm? Yeah. Yeah. There's some of his other films like Eraserhead, which is a cult classic, which got him the job on Elephant Man. I didn't like his Dune. Inland Empire, Wild at Heart, Lost Highway. He's loved David Lynch, so rest in peace, David Lynch. But that's the original. I didn't bring it at the beginning. I Love Revenge. You enjoyed it. It was okay.
Yeah, it was all right.
I'm glad you got to watch it. I'm glad we got to talk about it.
Yeah.
Because of the fact I know you love the substance, so that's why I really wanted you to see this.
Yeah.
So take that one off.
If I hadn't seen the substance, watching Revenge would have made me want to see the substance to see what was coming next from this director.
That would have been a good way to have, in that order. Yeah. Revenge first, then you see the progression of the director's work.
Yeah.
Again, I saw Revenge after. I saw Substance in the cinema, and I was like, what's her other work? Oh, just one film. I need to see this. I've been meaning to watch this film for so long. Finally. So I had a reason.
Yeah.
So good. I'm glad we got this done.
Yeah, it was fine.
So next up, if you're still with us, God bless you. Next up on the Dreadcast, we have our 2 films under Spectacular.
Spectacular.
How this works again, we have to pick a film each following specific criteria. Criteria works as such. We pick a decade randomly. Decade this time is the 80s. And we pick a topic out of the coffin, which is up there, little model coffin. You'll see it next time. And whatever the criteria says, we have to follow it and try and find a B movie / bottom of the barrel, absolute
piece of shit
film, and we'll compare them both and pick a winner.
So we got a film with evil in the title.
And from the 80s.
Yep.
Your film was?
I can't remember its name. It's
brilliant.
It's like 587
976.
976. I know it's 3 numbers, then evil. It's a phone number.
And I have
it's
watched
a premium
it.
rate phone number. You finished it.
I finished it.
I've not seen it yet.
I finished it.
I watched the trailer and thought, this is the film I'm definitely picking.
That's all I'm going to say. I finished it. And my choice is a film called Beyond Evil, featuring the great horror legend John Saxon. So we'll get into that next time. And we'll see which one
which is the
will
worst.
suffer for you. Following that, I think your choice, my choice was Revenge.
Yep.
What were you going to go with?
See, I'm contemplating changing my choice.
All right, well, come with you.
Thinking of maybe going with Attack of the Meth Gator just to ensure you watch it. Although no, it's going to be the 4th Rec film. Because I loved the first one, I loved the second one. I didn't like the third one to the point I haven't watched the 4th one.
Ditto. So it'd be great
if we pick the 4th one, then it's... Because apparently it's better than the third one, so it's a good excuse to get back in and watching the
I think it's got the generic subtitle, like it's Rec 4 Apocalypse or something like that. So I think Rec 3 is Rec 3 Genesis.
Yeah, it's the third one.
It's so it's like a Resident Evil film, like Retribution.
Rec 5, Raccoon City. You're not even trying now.
So yeah, 2 films under Rec 4, and then let's do some Simpsons Treehouse of Horror.
Woohoo!
Because I know you'll enjoy that. But we've done the good ones, so we'll be going into Treehouse 11 and 12. So we've done Can't Get Enough of That Sugar Crisp. So we're going deadly. So yeah.
Oh, that mean I've missed Pierce Brosnan as the house.
No.
Well, that's coming up.
That's going to be coming up soon.
So we get Matthew Perry in an episode.
Which one's Matthew Perry?
Could I be any more of a house? And then they pick the Pierce Brosnan one instead.
Oh yeah, well that's much later on down the line. Yeah, so we'll get to that at some point. Yeah,
I didn't know it was that far.
Yeah, we'll get to that. So 2 films under, 2 films, Rec 4 and the Treehouse of Horror, and yeah, that'll do for now. So until whenever the next episode comes out, check out the socials: TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, /X, Blue Sky, all the Dreadcast, all past content on Spotify, Apple, all the audio streaming services, and YouTube.
All of them.
And you get
even Podbean.
And you get this job. Where can you send your mail on into? What was the email address?
123 Fake Street.
thedreadcastpodcast @gmail.com. What was that again?
thedreadcastpodcast @gmail.com.
There we go. He's
One more time, Tom.
thedreadcastpodcast @gmail.com. Hey, what did you say it was?
thedreadcastpodcast @gmail.com.
He's getting his ticks on the probation note. So until next time, ciao.
And don't forget, dreadcastpodcast @gmail.com.
Look at this guy. Look at this superstar.